What do you make of what we were discussing in the first segment, this audio tape of Jerry Brown?
For one thing, I love that you got a statement from Gloria Allred. I was looking forward to this champion of women's rights.
I got it right here.
And
the person who referred to her as a whore was wrong. It is offensive to have anyone use that term. The individual who said it should apologize. Now, look, let's pick any female liberal Democratic politician. If I called or referred to them as a whore, pick anyone, what would the reaction be? Would Gloria Allred put out a statement that I should apologize?
Are you suggesting that there is some sort of double standard, Sean?
I am suggesting there is a double standard because I doubt Gloria Allred would be as forgiving, nor do I think the National Organization
not
for
only
Women,
that, but
California chapter.
Yes. No, it's shocking. It would be a front-page story on the New York Times if a Republican candidate for governor. Forget you. How about a Republican candidate?
Yeah.
I mean, we have a little more leeway. We are partisan commentators. This is a candidate for governor who was, I want to get to the substance of this, and that is he wanted to call her a whore for Americans who don't know, California is completely bankrupt, mostly thanks to the policies of Jerry Brown when he was governor 30 years ago, and he passed the Dill Act, which allowed state employees to unionize. And Democrats have been getting themselves elected governor and to the legislature in that state for 30 years now by promising the moon to government employees. Well, now the state is bankrupt as, prison guards retire at age 30 with $500,000 pensions. What Meg Whitman says is we can't fund the pensions. They are bankrupt, which they are. The state's just going to go into bankrupt in receivership if something isn't done, which should have been done 30 years ago or 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And she carved out, she says, we want to give them 401ks like in the private sector. She carved out an exception for cops.
Well, more than cops, public safety workers.
Okay,
is what the exemption was.
But at least from my recollection, the cops weren't the ones. It was the prison guards and the teachers who have been running those pensions up through the roof. And B, point one, they aren't as bad as the other ones. B, they're cops. When most people think of government workers, you notice when Democrats are defending huge government and tax hikes, they're always saying, oh, we're going to have to lay off cops. They don't talk about, the community facilitator or neighborhood architect or whatever.
Here's what it is. She is saying that public safety workers who don't get the best salaries to begin with, but do have perhaps a decent pension, and that those pensions would be, commitments made would be commitments kept. I hardly think that can be classified as calling somebody a whore. Jerry Brown sounds bitter and angry
because he didn't get the
endorsement.
He didn't get their endorsement.
But
if what he's saying is what she's doing is whorish, I don't think there's a word in the English language for him. Well, I mean, he has been Attorney General all this time as we're hearing about the salaries in Bell, California, these other little cities where they're paying themselves $500,000 a year, retiring with $500,000 pensions. He's the Attorney General. Why isn't he doing anything about it?
But the line was, heard in the background, what about saying she's a whore?
Right.
And then his next line, well, I'm going to use that.
Right.
When he said, here's what I want to know. I think, beyond Gloria Allred's comments, which are just interesting, the National Organization for Women, we just put it up there, and his actions speak louder than words, they're still supporting him. They're not even condemning him. Look at this comment. We know Jerry Brown's record. We know Meg Whitman's record. The choice is clear. We urge California women to vote for Jerry Brown for governor. Gee, thanks, National... Whatever.
Are you suggesting once again that the National Organization for Women does not have women's best interests at heart? Perhaps. Are you suggesting that they do nothing but promote abortion rights? Because I am shocked by this charge.
I cannot imagine any single instance besides this one where a woman is called a whore and the National Organization for Women says, you know what, we still support you.
Oh, no,
I
promise you they would not care if Sarah Palin, if Christine O'Donnell were called the C word. Forget the W word.
Well,
they probably call us
that. It's
a
sad commentary.
No, I think most people know the National Organization for Women is nothing but an abortion rights front group.
All right. A lot of this, I think, comes down to this. Democrats are desperate. They can't run on their record. They're hiding from the fact that they're Democrats. Republicans are coming on. States that nobody thought were in play are now in play. Do you see any way that they recover, especially in light of the unemployment number we'll get into in more detail in a second?
I hope not, because the future of the nation is at stake.
It really is.
If Republicans do not do well, this election 2 years from now, and elect Chris Christie president. Another 2 years after that.
By the way, you're wrong on that. He's not running for president, number one.
He has to for his country.
Chris Christie.
Yes.
He's liberal on some issues.
So was Reagan. I've never seen somebody talk like this guy since Reagan.
All right.
And he's sticking into the public sector unions,
I think he's doing a great job.
which Jerry Brown did not, and thus California is bankrupt. To return to the main point.
Great. It'll be interesting to see if he ever runs.
He is taking on the biggest fight that Jerry Brown.
Cocktail party with whatever that shoulder.
I am going to Cummings, Georgia, this Tuesday, where I'm speaking. Check my webpage.